Daymar was a toxic desert. We shouldn't have been there. No one should have been there. Largest Minobian Crusader. Biggest pie in the UEE Idris. Juvie Falconals 15 feet long would give you no warning to ask for forgiveness. And we didn't want to be there, but the company sent us out there to die if need be. See, outside of the toxic atmosphere and dust storms, organizations at large come here to fight for the abundance of natural resources. And my department didn't deal with the mining of natural resources. Only the fight at the trade negotiations had failed. But even while we sat there and trained, our fate had already been sealed. A bird from up high hinted that there was trouble brewing, and I wish I had listened. Little did we know we were bait disguised by bad actors and difficult intergalactic politics. Only a graduate at Perseal can navigate the question of why we were there. You see, someone up high hinted the chain of command was organizing a slaughter, and didn't tell anybody. Now all this after a generation crisis. If you laid this all out in front of a movie director, he'd take it and run. Probably wouldn't make it far, considering this entire operation was completely off the books.
I remember being pretty important then. First time not being a junior pilot on patrol. Colonel took me under his wing, and I'd ask him a question and he'd say,
"You can't handle the truth.
But on what was supposed to be our last day before we rotated out, the party came unannounced. And that godforsaken sound still haunts me to this day. The enemy fired their weapon and disappeared into the sky. And as the pilot in charge of the Perseus, I naturally started running. And naturally, everyone else followed. And through the next couple of minutes while we ran, we watched my closest friends getting hit by random.
The second I got on board, we were already 10 meters off the ground. I had assumed we were already en route to the enemy, so I didn't bother with the next two orders either, which was calling nearby patrols and seeing what we got hit by. And in 2 minutes, we had 3 fighters standing by, just as confused, just as ready. And surprisingly, everyone reported full weapon packages. And this is the only thing to have popped up in about the last cycle. And so, as we gathered up for a full flex package, we got all the information we needed. It was a stolen UEE Idris. Stolen clean out of the shipyard, so we had a legal right, a financial right, and the right only the verse can give you to give these guys pain. And we were following that Idris until it slowed to a complete standstill, dead over Daymar. And as the commander of the operation, I'd see no further course of action other than to blast them straight into oblivion. So I gave the order.